Well, I'm Deborah Daniel, and I would call it a serial entrepreneur. I've been in the entrepreneurial space, for almost 30 years. I've owned several businesses myself and with partners. The one continuity during the whole 28 years is I am the founder and CEO of Charter Accounting and Tax Service, which helps clients manage their businesses and save as much money as they can. But in that 30 years, it's kind of morphed a little bit into everything money related. I mean, what I say to people is, let me help you make more money, keep more money, and grow your money.
Deborah Daniel's commitment to keeping money in your pocket has earned her a reputation all throughout Metro Atlanta. Not only does she offer accounting and tax services, but you can learn how to be an entrepreneur yourself with her guidance.
I'm actually an accidental entrepreneur. I was newly married and finishing my MBA, and I got recruited away to work for a Fortune 100 company, which sounds like, oh wow, that's amazing. And it really was, but the problem is it was like 1 week of the month I was super busy. The other 3 weeks were kind of like, not busy. And circle this back to the early 90s, there wasn't an internet, so I couldn't look at Netflix on my computer or, Google whatever I wanted to. So I sometimes say I'm in business because there wasn't an internet back in the early 90s. I knew that I eventually wanted to be an entrepreneur. Work me to death, don't bore me to death. And I think that's kind of a little bit of an attitude you need to have as an entrepreneur, because if you're just watching the clock, the entrepreneurial life thing isn't going to work for you. You've got to have that mentality. You've got to have that drive versus to me, an employee is more the harvester. Somebody's out there gathering that stuff and they're giving you the stuff to work on. And that's great. And we need both of those, right? So I just think if you have that drive and you want to be a little bit more in control of your time and in control of your ability to earn money. I use this example all the time. If I go to the orthodontist with my daughter and they say, oh, daughter needs braces, and that's $5,000 or whatever that number is. I can't go to my boss if I'm an employee and say, hey boss, I need $5,000 for these braces. He'd be like, get back to your cubicle and get to work. Versus when I have something big come up, or just if I want to raise my income, I can at any time change my revenue.
Her measure of success is definitely recognized during the ongoing pandemic that we currently face. Despite shutdowns and procedural changes to her company, she is still thriving and has been able to help those who have not been as fortunate as she has.
I don't know if we want to talk about COVID at this point, but that has been a lifesaver, I think, for a lot of businesses during COVID, because we have been able to be the one in control of what's happening with our revenue. Now we are obviously subject to the market activity that's happening. I just got off a call right before this with someone that was talking about how all the restaurants are really suffering during this. If they're open in different parts of the country, they're limited to using 50% of their space or whatever the local ordinance is. How long can businesses really stay in place with that? Yet, if I was an employee of that company, I'm at the mercy of whatever that owner is doing. But if I'm the employer, I can say, okay, we're going to do drive-through, we're going to do pickup, we're going to, do homemade meals that people can take. I hate the word pivot. It's going around like crazy. I call it evolve. Because the reality is COVID has been very detrimental to business, but I've been in business for 30 years. 2008 was detrimental to business. 2000 tech bubble. 2001 when we had World Trade Center and everything. Nobody traveled then for a few weeks. This is a little different because it's not numbers related. It's not business related. Most other things that have affected business in the 30 years I've been doing this were really more based on the economy. We have this kind of extra little microscopic thing that's kind of messing with us here that we don't really know. This is a little bit of virgin territory of how is this health situation really impacting our business and our money. But I do think owning a business does give you a little bit more ability to deal with it. COVID is kicking everybody's butt a little bit, but the real problem is most people didn't have the real structures and procedures and plans in place. Most people are living their lives by their checkbook and their business by their whatever money is coming in and out. They're not really making strategic plans. I think this is a real wake-up call because, like I said, it's COVID right now, but it has been 2008. The real thing is to get those procedures and stuff in place, because everybody has cracks in their financial and business plan, but COVID or 2008 or whatever makes those cracks seem like the Grand Canyon.